Bonjour, this is Jasmine. Thank you so much for stopping to smell the roses on Rue Madame. Um, yeah, I don't want to even continue the rest of my introduction. It's craziness. And I'm looking over the pond where I used to live, where my family is, and I'm like, I don't know you people. Who? Are you American? No, but I used to live somewhere, with 50 somethings and, the Star Spangled whatever. So yeah, I, this video is about what I was doing last night. So I am just putting my children to bed and I'm like, okay, I have a couple hours. I can read my book. I'm starting my, new chapter. I got through chapter 1 and mid chapter 2 and I'm reading and I look at my social media because I posted the word of the day in my Rue Madame book club pic. And when I was posting the the word of the day that's in this book, which is very British and very, you know, interesting, I see a lot of posts about the capital, DC. And I'm thinking, what is going on? So I look into it a little further and mayhem is occurring, terrorism, an attack on the capital of the United States by our own. And I'm thinking, this is happening. This is like not a joke. This is not a drill. I was thinking, they're really, storming the capital. Okay, this is happening. So I'm in awe, and I'm like, okay, I'm not going to continue this ridiculousness, this buffoonery. I'm going to continue my book, no distractions. And I couldn't help it. Like, and I just watched in amazement. I was looking at different posts on my timeline about the ridiculousness that everybody was witnessing in real time. And I was like, oh my goodness. I saw one of my friends post, yeah, time to pop a bag of popcorn and look at how white privilege, you know, manifests itself in real time. So this is a good episode. Let me just watch. And I got a lot of those sentiments. But the major sentiment I got was, if this was black people, if this was indigenous people, if this was anybody else, then white conservative, mostly men, would this have gone down? We're not talking about a Target. We're not talking about a Walmart. We're talking about a building occupied by elected officials. Really? Really? And of course, there's going to be false equivalencies of, oh, well, in Ferguson, or oh, well, in Seattle, or oh, in Portland. Really? Like people getting shot in the street, dead, unarmed, and unlawfully murdered. State sanctioned violence is the same as a group of terrorists with no reasoning of, oh, somebody killed my brother, somebody killed my mother, somebody killed a person in my community, I'm upset about it, it's unjust. No, there's people who are disgruntled about a presidential election who said, okay, bet we lost, okay, well, let's go clown. And a lot of people corrected the term white privilege and more precisely said, no, that's white power. How the police can stand down, stand down. What was the term? Stand by, stand down, wait. This was the president towards the far right extremist group, the Proud Boys, or something like that. I think he was really talking to the police and how the police just, you know, orchestrated this with a lack of reaction, a lack of law enforcement that they claim is very important nowadays. It was a sight that was unmatched. I said, oh my God, I have to write something about this. I don't know what. So I just wrote about what I was doing at the time, about putting my kids down to bed, about reading, about writing, about me, trying to be optimistic about 2021, doing big and better things, being productive, and producing and creating more than I could. So I was on a whole, it was a whole mood last night of, I'm going to do my nightly routine. And, and mind you, I'm in France. So that really changes my viewpoint, my vantage point of looking back at home, looking like, what am I a part of that? Like, do I am I claiming that still? Really? Okay, I guess whatever. But the message I wanted to portray in the post that I uploaded, and it went really fast. When I'm like in a zone and I'm like pushed by my emotions, I write really, really well. So I posted the article. It's titled um, Terrorists Stormed the Capitol, the US Capitol, a White Uprising. And this post is available to the public where you can read it, share it, enjoy it, love it, and really understand where a lot of people are coming from. I actually shouted out and quoted a lot of people on my timeline and their sentiments and how they felt, just to give an idea of where we're coming from, and not just me, but people I know, people in my circles, real day, everyday people, and not just people on mainstream media, because mainstream media is totally downplaying this. They're still like, I've seen articles calling these people protesters. Protesters. Uh, okay. But of course, you have some that's calling them rioters, which is appropriate, but no one is calling them terrorists. Like, terrorists. Like, we don't even need to put domestic in front of that. No, they're terrorists. Period. Full stop. Like, this is ridiculous. But yeah, check out that article on Rue Madame. And consider subscribing for the rest of the content that is poignant and interesting. But yeah, I was just floored. Floored. And the main message I got is white supremacy affects us all. It's not just white supremacy from the white culture, the white dominant population to blacks, or the white domination to indigenous people. It is the dominant culture, whiteness in general, on everybody, on other whites, on other conservatives, on other, on the world. Like, it is a global phenomenon. Like, there were officers that were injured in this ridiculousness, and there was nearly not enough arrests even reported. And I found it interesting that there was no like briefing. You know how like there's an incident, there's a hostage situation, or there's a murder, or there's a rampage or something, and you have the police that come and they have a little podium and they say, well, this is what's happening, and we have this many people in custody, and this is what transpired in this incident, da da da. No, there was none of that. And it was just like the police holding protesters' hands, going in, throughout, coming out. And it was just like, okay, white supremacists, you know, um, going bumping heads with other white supremacists. Like everybody on my timeline was just hurt initially, but just amused. And it was so comical, like, this is not our fight. I heard a lot of people say. It was like, yeah, let us just watch this ghetto-ness. This one friend said, what? She said, the MAGA supporters are so ghetto. And that's on Mary Had a Little Lamb. I died. But yeah, white supremacy is not one-sided. It affects everybody and it benefits one group especially. And I think you should check my other video talking about racism and how racism is like pollution in the air. It's not avoidable. It's not something you can like put a mask on and be protected from. So all the nice, well-meaning people, white people who say that they're not racist, it is like you saying that you're not affected by pollution. Like even though you're not consciously, purposefully, intentionally hurting people, but silence is violence also. You know what I mean? So people just looking at this like, oh, okay. Hopefully someone is arrested, but I'm still going to vote the way I'm going to vote. I'm still going to have my priorities over any and everybody. I'm still going to be apathetic about the suffering and killings of innocent Black human beings. That's sad. That's bad. But I'm still going to just go about my merry life in white America completely oblivious, and I'm going to hold my tongue at the family dinner when the racist uncle or the racist aunt or the racist grandfather say something that's completely unacceptable. That makes you a racist too. That makes you complicit too. And white people saying that they're not racist is not helping solve all of this mayhem that you see in front of us. It's kind of like this was a perfect storm. People who are like saying, oh, well, the current president is just as bad as all the other presidents, and this president is not that evil, and it's not all his fault. I agree. It isn't all his fault. It isn't all his fault. People in power who do not care about the well-being of the majority of us, when there's popular supported policies and legislation that most of the population is for, and you have congressmen and politicians on the left and right who are just lukewarm about like saving lives and creating policy that helps the majority of us, yeah, they're responsible too. They're responsible too. Like, why are we talking about another impeachment when we had ample opportunity to get this psychopath out of the White House from jump? Like a year ago, 2 years ago, whenever this was the first impeachment. And I was talking to my cousin Spencer and how he was like, oh, well, it's not all the Republicans' fault. All of them aren't bad, blah, blah, blah. And this person, Spencer, is not even a Republican. He's defending Republicans because he has a friend that's Republican talking about, oh, well, my Republican friend isn't bad and he doesn't like the president. So I don't count him as part of the problem. Yeah, he is, because whoever he votes for that's not trying to get this person out of the White House is indirectly supporting the president. So yeah, your friend might be nice, might take you out to lunch, might be a good person, but his politics is indirectly killing you. So why are you defending this? Okay, that's just my point of view. And I have other people that just completely tapped out of politics altogether. Like, why vote? Why participate? Why do any effort? Why ask from the people that are hurting us to, waste our time in this democracy? And I completely empathize with these people and I completely understand. And I am like, I understand their sentiments exactly. It's like we been knowing, we knew that this system was not for us. We knew about the double standard. We knew about how, if our life is taken, it's kind of like, oh, well, the police was just doing their job. And when we see this ridiculousness on our screens now, what are they saying? Oh, well, they were caught off guard. The police were caught off guard. This is mainstream media. And I'm looking at this like, what are you talking about? How can you be caught off guard when people are telling you we're going to be at this place at this time and this is what we're going to do? What are you talking about? And the mainstream media is kind of like making it seem like they don't know what's going on. Oh, well, we don't understand why there's no arrests. Well, I think it's because they wanted to protect the people inside and not, not get overwhelmed by the protesters or what? This is mainstream media, NBC, CNN, all this buffoonery. What are you talking about? They were overwhelmed. No, they opened the gates. There's photos, video, evidence of police officers, law enforcement, the so-called people that are here to protect us, letting the people in, opening up barricades, taking selfies and pictures with rioters and terrorists. Like, yo, not one time did I hear, oh, they didn't arrest them because they're white and they're conservative and they're Trumpers and the police and them are on the same side. None of that. It was like legit old white liberal liberal talking heads on these news outlets talking about, we don't understand why is the police, they must have been, oh, the poor police. I was like, I'm sitting from overseas looking at this like, I renounce my citizenship. No, I'm joking. But yeah, it was just like I saw one one news anchor, Joy Reid, the only Black person maybe with any type of sense on MSNBC, since Melissa Harris Perry was knocked out of their channel. She's the only one left saying like, if this was Black people, if this was anybody else, we would have seen body bags coming out of the Capitol. We would have saw another case of Jacob Blake. And in the article that I wrote yesterday, I talked about Jacob Blake, and it was the same day that I heard that there was no charges against the police officer who shot him in the back 7 times when he was walking away from the police officers. And there's a whole group of downright white mob who storms the police, and there was nobody shot 7 times in the back. Unfortunately, there was a casualty, and it's been reported that there may be multiple casualties, but this was the most like smooth, uninterrupted uprising I've ever seen. Like, and Black people are just looking like, we've been telling y'all. We've been telling y'all. The people who said, oh, well, we're not going to look in the past. We're just going to continue in the future. We're not going to press charges. We're not going to do this. White supremacy, hate, and this, double standard is affecting all of us, white people and Black people. Like, we have to get it together. Like, seriously. And I'm going to leave it there. But in other news, I can't wait to talk with my cousin Jennifer tomorrow about the effects of social media and controlling your usage of your social media in 2021 and how you can manage it better. So I'll leave it there before my little girl comes in here and like the people on the Capitol and interrupt this whole video. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Check out the Rue Madame blog and the latest articles there. Consider pledging and becoming a resident. Check out the boutique and get the latest designs. Like, share, and subscribe to this channel. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.